my Capstone project is about promoting edible insect, the future food. So this is the brief table of contents. I'm gonna tell you why me, which is the senior, so caught up with insects, and some inspiration of this project, and why we need some insects, and what's my targeted community, and some project process and impact of my projects. So my project objective, so it was about promoting edible insects and also research which approach would be the best method to make people to try them. Before introducing about my project more, why did normal high school senior so caught up with insects? Yeah, you know, it's disgusting. Yet I saw there was like big potential to advertise and promote this edible insects since there's a lot of nutrition values and it can benefit our earth by mitigating climate change. So introducing about myself, I was very interested in environment and like animal science since I was very young. And also I had two lizards, it's called red and white. They're basically crested gecko. So they eat insects. So I had to feed insects every day. So I got some kind of like familiar and had like positive perception to the edible insects. So also I had a trait of loving to try new things. So I had some like memory of wanting to try edible insects by myself. And I forgot that for quite like 3 years since I had to study for APs and SATs. However, this year, in the beginning of this year maybe, I saw one YouTube video from my favorite YouTuber called Ko Jae-young, and he had a new challenge of only eating insects for a week. And from the video, I noticed that eating only edible insects is not that challenging since he was not feeling that hard from it, and also there were some positive things since he gained his muscle, which is some proteins, and also he loses weight for about like 2 kilograms. So I saw that starting this project in like promoting edible insects would be some kind of good things to start. So this is some more benefits for the edible insects. So they can not only increase the job opportunities, but also increase the food availability. Since edible insects have higher reproducing rates than other protein sources such as like beef or pork, so that is some benefits. And for the second one, the edible insects can allow people who have diabetes to get a protein source without high insulin intake. Since edible insects don't have glucose they produce, so they're good for the diabetes. And for the third one, we can get a positive impact of reducing greenhouse gas and CO2 as insects produce very little compared to other animals. So looking at this graph, this is the middle one, which is the edible insects, and compared to beef or chicken, they significantly have lower global warming potential, which is kilogram per CO2. So this shows that they're having very big advantage compared to other protein sources. So yeah, we know it's beneficial, but still the benefit won't just make public try them. So one method would be good to promote it to the public. Since when I was researching about how to promote, there was not a lot of research ongoing about edible insect promotion. So actually I just researched by myself. So I had my own project and find out which method would be better. So this is my methodology in testing which method would be better. So firstly, I gave edible insect foods for the initial product like control group, and based on the feedback, I had some interview and Google Forms from the initial products and updated the product. And check if the second product is having better visual and taste with some feedback later, and I finalized the product. So for doing this research, my targeted community was GEC community. So GEC community includes schools of KIS, NLCS, SJ, BHA, and I wanted to engage with them because I want this community to have more open-minded to edible insects and reduce carbon footprint as well. However, there was some limitations since I cannot meet all the people from this GEC community, And I needed some events, some kind of the event that could include all the GC members. So hopefully there was a GC science fair. And before doing this project, there was some concerns before, since like having some concern about like would there be enough people coming or would anyone even try the edible insects? Since my project's researching was solely about like, participation required things, so if there are no people trying the edible insects or all hating the edible insects, my projects will some kind can be like doomed. So there was some concerns. So on the GC Science Fair, there was a GC student who is interested in science and environment, and so this helped me to able to have more active participation to my events booth. So project at Science Fair. So I made a cookies like this, and that included edible insects in the visually. So there was more than like 50 people who visited this event booth and tried the edible insects cookie, and also most of them gave positive feedback. So my concerns was kind of solved, and this event was kind of like controlled. And based on this project at the science fair, I did some additional projects. So by interviewing with the participants from the science fair, I updated the recipe. And by the interview, I noticed the taste of the insect was fine, but the visual, as everyone knows, was not that good, so it hesitated to try. So I made a cookie without edible insect shown but only including milom powder, which is this one. So this is the milom that only contains shredded miloms, so there's no any visual. They can hesitate anyone to try the miloms. So this was kind of like experimental group. So as a result, for the participants who participate in the Google form, they wrote it like this. And to have more clear statistical analysis, I did some one-way ANOVA test. So by setting the alpha value of 0.05 and null hypothesis of not having difference in mean and alternative hypothesis of having difference in mean, since both p-value was 0.001 and 0.21, and it is less than 0.05, which is the alpha value, it shows that there is convincing evidence that the visual and taste experience was better for experiment than control. So it shows that the recipe actually worked. And for overall limitations for my research and my projects, there was not even enough sample size, since there was like 50 and I wanted more than like 100. And I couldn't done more recipe updates, since I only could have done one recipe update due to like time issues and some business. And also the event was not random. So since the science fair and the second additional projects was all the participants, so there could be like confounding variable in having better response to edible insect experience, since participants usually have more like positive perception to the edible insects. And due to these limitations, next time if I do this project, I think I will improve this three variables. Yeah. And final thoughts. I think this project gave positive perception to the participants. As I interviewed, they said they had a very open-minded to the edible insects and they was open to try them again. And also, I noticed that to promote edible insects to public, not having the visual is the best method. And as my community, which is GC community, is going throughout globally, including US, Japan, or Australia and more, I thought this project could be a good guideline to spread benefit of edible insects forward. And for the last one, I think edible insects has very big potential as I research. So since they have good nutrition value and they can mitigate some global warming by reducing less CO2 and greenhouse gas. And actually, as I did some research about edible insects by the Google Forms and interview, public had better response than I had thought. So I think there's very big potential for edible insects to be a replacement for the future food for the protein source such as like meats or porks. So thank you for listening to my presentation, and let's try edible insects. Thank you.
Hey Brian, can you go back one slide? I just had a question. Yep. What did you mean by your community, like your community is going globally, like US and Japan? Do you mean like the movement, or are you connected to those countries?
So the participants who join my event is mostly like GC community. So since GC community is going throughout university and globally.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Okay. When you were doing a little, I know you said there wasn't too much research. Was there anything? I don't mean to be gross, but like if you're eating insects, does that change anything? Like internally, like does it change like breath or like how it goes through your stomach? Did you find anything like it changes? Because you know, like some people, like if you're on a liquid diet, like people basically stop going.
Yes.
Like solid waste stops because there's nothing in there. Like, did you find anything about like changes scientifically?
I haven't researched about it, but for me, for my experience, without like except having bad breath smell, there was not much big significant change in my body.
Okay.
Like,
and did the cookies, did that, maybe because there's other ingredients in there, maybe that would like mitigate?
Actually, like the participant liked the taste of the edible insects since it was kind of like nutty tastes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was not like harming the tastes of cookies.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting topic. Basically, there's a huge movement to try and get people over this kind of stigma of eating bugs. Companies have been successful in the past in doing this. I don't know if you're aware, but maybe 30 years ago, fisheries in North America would throw tuna back.
Yes.
They did not catch the tuna. It was a waste fish. And now it's like the most valuable fish you can catch. So if something can happen like that, it'd be good for the world with bugs. But I'm curious, did you find anything out about, like, if you want to produce this at scale, how did they actually, like, there's got to be a facility that makes this product,
Yes.
that grows the bugs. How do they do that?
So this is from Jeonnam,
Okay.
and as I noticed, they're really similar to like other farms. They're some kind of having like it is actually like very similar to other traditional farms like cows farms or horse farm. So, and also the farm owners who produce this edible insects are also having like governmental incentives by doing the producing this. So
Yeah, I can see that where there'd be really good synergy with like a chicken farm actually,
Yes.
because you would have that product, but you could also use that as feed for your
yeah,
chickens.
this is very interesting.
Yeah, super interesting topic.
I just want to know, the participants, what's their feedback?
I think I haven't read it yet. So this was the Google form that they wrote, and for the interview, I had some response from them. Or actually, I can show the interview. So they knew a lot of like benefits of edible insects, and some like the taste of it actually by only eating those edible insects. So actually, I saw that there was a lot of positive response to the.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.